Hello, fellow horror fiends, and welcome to The Horror Within Me, a podcast dedicated to the world of horror. Join us each week as our host explores a new, horrifying topic from the many realms of horror, such as film, television, and more, and returns to tell us his terrifying revelations. So sit back, relax, and get ready to face the horrors within.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Horror Within Me. It is time to spend another spooky Sunday together, but this week we are not alone. We are joined with my special guest co-host, Grace, Hi, Grace.
Hi.
I did not mean to say witch. I was going to say something else, and it's so funny because this episode is all about witches, so it just must be the word of the day. This is our first video podcast. And for those of you who have been listening since the beginning, Grace was my first guest on my very first episode. We also did another episode. I don't remember the number. But we did Japanese horror together, which was really fun. And this is the first ever video podcast, if you don't count the interview with Amelia Kincaid, which was done over Zoom because this platform is giving issues. Second, this is another milestone episode because this is episode 30. Yay! It's so exciting. Having so much fun, and we're going to jump into it. So this is going to be a little bit of a different episode, and I apologize if I get a little winded or out of breath. I had a cardiac ablation 2 days ago, so I'm in recovery mode still, but I definitely didn't want to miss doing this. We do have some fun shows and movies to talk about, but the episode is going to be based around witches in media. Like I said, a couple of shows that I enjoyed from that. And I also am interested and have been dabbling within the Wiccan community, and Grace definitely has been. And I've asked her to kindly join me to give me perspectives on that, as well as some couple candle magics that we can all do at home. So that's pretty much the gist of this week's episode. And I think you're going to really enjoy this conversation. It's going to be a fun ride. And if you've listened to me and Grace in the past, you know that it's always fucking fun. There's profanity and there's just a fucking hot mess of things being said and a lot of ADHD moments. But it's fine because we own our shit.
Yes.
So, Grace, we've said this in the past. You're not as involved in the horror community, which is great because it gives me the opportunity to connect with people that aren't as in the horror community. So I'm gonna explain to you a little bit about the show, how it's changed a little bit since the last time you were on it. Our friend Jenny does the introduction now, by the way.
Jenny, I love her.
Yes, and she's a day one listener. She still listens. If I hit the mic, I apologize. Yeah, she listens because sometimes we'll have conversations. And I'm telling her a story, and she's like, "You said that in your podcast last week." I'm like, "Damn, you listened to the episode." I still can't fathom that people listen to this. I don't know why. But what are you going to do? I've added an element because I'm a huge trivia person. And as you know, my husband and one of your besties proposed to me at a trivia night. So I've incorporated trivia. I call it terrifying trivia every week. So I want to jump into that, and we don't answer it until the end of the episode. But this week's theme is witches. So I'm thinking, what can I do? And I thought of something fun. And here it is. So it is time for this week's terrifying trivia. So this week's question is, in the show Bewitched, what does Samantha wiggle to cast her spells? I'm going to repeat the question. In the show Bewitched, what does Samantha wiggle to cast her spells? Stick around to the end of the show to get the answer. And I know it's probably easy for people that are diehard fans of everything like this, but it is also a very old show. And for the younger generation listening, they don't know who the hell I'm talking about. And I might show my age a little bit. It's also the weird kid watching Bewitched on Nick at Night.
Yep. Nope. That's me.
Yeah. So you're not very much into the horror community, but you're very much in the Wiccan community, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you're going to have to guide us on this journey today and correct all of the misconceptions that I might say or bring up. And also talk about the first media content, which is the 1990 movie The Witches, which you did watch for this episode.
I did.
All right. Before I ask your opinion, I'm going to give a quick little thing that I do every week, a synopsis and the ratings. So the rating on IMDb for The Witches is a 6.8 out of 10, which is not bad, and a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. The synopsis is, a young boy stumbles onto a witch convention and must stop them, even after he has been turned into a mouse, and it is streaming on HBO Max. What are your initial thoughts before you can edit any of them? What did you think of the movie?
So I thought that it was extremely cheesy, super adorable. I definitely, after I watched it, I recommended it to my friends that have young-ish children. One of my best girlfriends has a daughter that's almost 6, and I was like, watch this movie with her if you want to give her a little spook.
Yeah, it's a family fun horror.
Yes, it's very family fun, and all in all, like, I could see how it would be scary to a kid. I thought it was fabulous for a early 1990s movie.
I was terrified of Angelica Houston, the Grand High Witch herself. Terrified me. And I think before we started recording, you thought she was fabulous?
Yes, I think that she's fabulous. I'm glad that, everything worked out, maybe not in her favor in the movie, but I thought that it was a great what's the word I'm looking for? Projection of what witches are and or can be.
Okay.
So you're looking at me like you're nuts.
No. I think it's great because I think that there's so many, that's a great point because there's so many different perceptions of witches. Dating all the way back to the witch trials and the fear of witches and the portrayal of ugliness and fear.
It's really not something that you necessarily see as much in this day and age.
Exactly.
But it was I can get into like the actual like lore and why I see it that way if you would like me to, or I can hold off on that for now. But it was just like in the Wiccan community, you get what you give.
Yeah.
There was a lot of what I saw a lot of that in this movie.
Okay. What did you think of the rats?
I thought that they were adorable.
Really? Even when she was turned into a rat? When they all started shaking and they were like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. It was the first time that I saw it, when they turned one of the children into a rat. I was like, what does this remind me of?
Oh, Bruno.
Yes, I couldn't quite place what it reminded me of. Like, it reminded me of a different movie somewhere, but it might have been Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. That's
Peter Pettigrew when he turns into a mouse. Like, that's the vibe that I got. I was like, it's jarring, but at the same time, like, fascinating and slightly adorable.
And the purple eyes were interesting.
Yes, I did really like that.
The purple eyes were interesting, but she scared me. The one witch scared me outside of the window, and she's like, "You want some chocolate or something?" When she was trying to get him to come down, I'm like, "Don't fucking go down there."
Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. Yeah, they like ate children, and I thought it was funny how they all thought that children had like the worst smell.
Yes. I mean, like, I can't disagree. No.
The honesty is open. Parents who are listening, turn off your mic, turn off your headphones, whatever you're doing, watching, listening. We're done. No.
I'm just kidding. No, I thought that was a great touch when his grandmother was like, "You must be dirty, only bathe once a month." Like, I was like, I could get with that.
She was missing a pinky, right?
She was missing a pinky.
I haven't seen the movie in a long time, but clearly it scarred my brain. Like I said, I say this every week. I watched movies like Jason and Michael Myers and things like that, and I loved it, and it was scary. But like the family horrors, like the horrors like that, really got me, and a ways because I wasn't anticipating to be scared. I think,
Yeah.
but an amazing movie, and like it is a family movie in the '90s. But I think like like you said, it was 1990. It was released, so the portrayal of witches was to be the scarier witches that we don't see as much now.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the next piece of media that you have not seen, but I watched, which was the Charmed TV series that was released in 1998. It ran for 8 seasons and ended in 2006 with Alyssa Milano, Holly Marie Combs, Shannon Doherty, and Rose McGowan. I love Charmed. I was a huge, and still am, huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, and Charmed came out the following year, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out, and instantly loved Charmed as well. And the IMDb rating is a 7.1 out of 10, and it has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the synopsis is 3 sisters discover their destiny to battle against the forces of evil using their witchcraft. They are the Charmed ones. And you can actually stream it on Peacock, it says.
Oh.
So just an FYI. I'm sure there's other places to stream. But it's a different take on witches and witchcraft. And you've read some information, right?
Yes. Yeah. I did a little bit of research. It's definitely, I feel like this was the era of like with Buffy and Angel, and like just it was a very like, I feel like it was the beginning of Monster of the Week shows, which I don't hate. I love Buffy and I love Angel, and I will probably love Charmed when I get around to it.
I actually have to set me and my husband have been talking about starting it because he hasn't seen it either, and we're gonna watch the whole thing together.
Yeah, it's wholesome family activities. But yes, so in my little synopsis reading, it struck me as they're all powerful and they have these monsters to fight, but they're also just ladies trying to live their lives.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So the fun thing with Charmed that I didn't touch on with the witches they were making potion to turn the kids into the mice. But there wasn't a lot of spell casting and a lot of spells being done by them. They made the potion. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Charmed, they were the power of 3. They were 3 sisters that descended from the Halliwell family, and they were witches, but they were more than witches. They were supreme witches. They were the Charmed ones. So their powers, they had special powers that other witches wouldn't have. Like it was, and they all had names of P's. So it was Prue and Piper and Phoebe, Paige. So I'm not going to get too much spoilery on the 4th one because it doesn't make sense with the power of 3, but you'll probably figure that out. But anyway, so Prue could move things with her mind and her hands, and Piper could freeze time, and Phoebe had premonitions, and Paige was a half white lighter and a half witch, so she could do like special powers, white lighter powers that are similar to telekinesis too. And a white lighter is like a witch's guide to help them fight evil, and they could like sparkly lights that just teleport around the world and shit. And they had the Book of Shadows, and the Book of Shadows is a real book in the world. I've seen it in like shops and stuff. So do you have any experience with the Book of Shadows?
I do not personally have any experience with the Book of Shadows. I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but I'm assuming it's on track with like a grimoire. Generally, generally anything that is darkness appearing or shadow appearing, like that's not something that I normally go out of my way to own. I like to practice in the sunshine, in the light, just Keeping it all up there.
Yeah, the Book of Shadows was their book of spells where they could vanquish the demons and other entities, because with all these shows that run for years, they have to start introducing things. And I fell off a little bit with Charm when they started introducing like fairies and elves and shit, and like magic school. It got very Harry Potter-ish, but it's not bad. it's good. I like it, but it started off with just vanquishing like demons and stuff. But it is great. It is a great show. Highly recommend it. And that brings me to the next media, because I just want to run through the media, because this week's episode is not based on one specific movie or show. It's based on a theme within, which is fun because this theme of witches is also folklore and an actual history of it in the world. So the next one, which I chose to talk about, is the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, that ran for 4 seasons from 2018 to 2020. It's still on Netflix. It's a Netflix series. It's got a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb and 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the synopsis is, as her 16th birthday nears, Sabrina must choose between the witch world of her family and the human world of her friends, and it's based on the Archie comic. Did you watch Sabrina?
Yes. Twice.
Okay, so now we've gotten somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere, because Sabrina, there was a Sabrina the Teenage Witch show back in the 90s as well with Melissa Joan Hart, which I've watched, but not faithfully. And it was on my house the other day, because we don't have cable anymore, because why? But I discovered Pluto TV. Didn't know what the fuck Pluto TV was. But it's like a free thing with ads, but it's like cable. Like there's a Hallmark channel and all these free things, but they had one channel that was just playing old Sabrina episodes, and my husband was ecstatic. I had to fall asleep with it on. It was so cool. But so I was like familiar with that Sabrina. And when I put on Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, it was very Hail Satan. And I was like, that is dark. That is dark, and like not the fucking Charmed ones either. Like I was like, am I supposed to be okay watching this? I don't know if I'm allowed to enjoy this. What were your thoughts of Sabrina?
So it's a controversial show. It's definitely, so it's done by the same guy that does Riverdale. And
Bedell.
A common theme with this show writer is the sexualizing of high school students, which is super creepy and gross. But at the same time,
it's been that way since the beginning. Look at Buffy and Charmed. Well, Charmed, they weren't high schoolers, but Buffy definitely was high school.
But at the same time, it's dark and it's gritty, and it shows like power struggles, and it's a lot of the problems are centered around like women's servitude of men and the power of choice, and like it's very powerful. And at the end, like there's a lot of things that, like, whether they're expressly stated or not, like my perceptions of them are like when she splits herself into two, she's got her light spots, she's got her dark spots, and she's like, all right, well, half of me is going to be the queen of hell, and then the other half of me is gonna go live it up in the normal people world. And it's like when you look at it on its face like that, it's like, oh yeah, we have the light and the dark here. Like we were presented with a choice and we couldn't necessarily make the choice, so we made a new choice for ourselves.
What I found interesting, about Sabrina is that they did hail Satan. Satan was her father, Lucifer, Morning Star, and they all prayed to him. But what I found interesting about the way that Sabrina did that, as opposed to other horror media, when it comes to devil worshipping and things like that, they weren't portrayed as savagely and as sexual as it was in a lot of things that people think of devil worshippers. They think of people sacrificing children and these savage beast people. And then you have Sabrina, where it's just another religion that they follow and do. And it may not be the same customs, but it's not like you can't, like, you want to be like, this is wrong to hail Satan, but they're also not doing anything harmful.
Most of the time, at least.
Most of the time.
There was that episode where they, ate a person, but
oh God, which one was that? Oh
The
God,
Feast
sorry.
of Feasts.
Oh yeah, we're gonna listen. I've
We're gonna
learned a
forget about
lot.
Feast of Feasts.
Yes, we'll talk about that on a separate day.
Yeah, it was mostly like I think my show notes I didn't rewatch, but I've seen it twice and I follow it. I'm a part of the cult following.
Good.
So I have dark, gritty, pretty, and higher than thou. So a lot of the witches and warlocks you see in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, they carry like a very like elegant and uppityness to them, which they're no better than like super Christian conservative ladies in my
Yeah.
book. Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's just you've replaced some of the words
Yes. Exactly. Because
and
there's
the lighting.
exactly. So that brings me on to like similarities that I think that we can all agree with the three of them, no matter they're all portrayed differently. It all centers around community, sisterhood, family, all of them. Even the witches in 1990, they were at a convention, they banded together. It was their coven, you know, and that's like you said, no different than other religions. And
Hmm.
I'm not religious, so I don't have the right terms, but followers or whatever the case is, for people that go to church on Sundays and all that. And I'm not against anybody.
Right.
I am fully for religious freedoms as long as you're not trying to take away my freedoms.
That's right.
And I will fight for my freedoms to the end. And I have a right to believe in what I want to believe in it just like you do. I don't think that my beliefs trump your beliefs. And I just expect the same respect. And then we can all just go about our days. We can worship whatever we worship in the privacy of our homes or in whatever buildings we choose to say are holy, because that's that. But outside of that, it should not be dictated and forced into other laws.
That's right.
So that brings me to, obviously we are passionate about this topic. That's why we are doing this episode. For the listeners out there who may also be interested in not just horror, witches, and media, but actual witchcraft and Wiccan community. And like I said, I'm not that involved. I don't have a community outside of you mostly. But I am very interested and have always been, but grew up in a time where, and it might still be this way, it's been just so frowned upon. And if you step outside of anything that isn't Jesus Christ, you're wrong. And there's a lot of that. I was born Catholic. My family was not very religious, so I don't want to say that I was like, brought up in that kind of home, but I still had certain values
Conceptions.
instilled and conceptions that came in with that. And for me, I gravitated towards witchcraft because I learned about witchcraft from these kinds of shows and movies. How did you get introduced to witchcraft?
Oh, so growing up, I had a split family. We were half Catholic and half Christian. I was raised in um, a very liberal Christian church, and we just kind of didn't talk about the Catholic part of our family. But my grandparents were both Catholic. However, my grandmother, who I spent a lot of time with growing up, she was just infatuated with like anything mystical. She had a Ouija board. She which we don't mess with. We don't mess with Ouija boards, but she
I
kept it
used to.
upstairs in a safe spot. She was just constantly like she taught me that life can be as magical as you make it.
I like that.
So yeah, it's just a matter of respecting others and respecting the earth and just doing what feels right for you.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know the definition of witchcraft at this point in life, the definition I found, I believe, on fucking Wikipedia or something, is the practice of magic, especially black magic, the use of spells. I don't like that it says especially black magic for witchcraft. But I'm not here to argue with the internet because we all know the internet is always correct. We can't be fooled by that. We know that it has to be correct. The definition of Wicca from the Britannica is Wicca, the largest. All right, I'm going to do my voice. Ready? Wicca, the largest of the modern pagan or neo pagan religions. Its followers, who are called Wiccans, typically identify as witches and draw inspiration largely from the pre Christian religions of Europe. Having publicly emerged in England during the 1950s, Wicca is now found primarily in Western countries, and the number of Wiccans is probably in the low hundreds of thousands. Followers often use the pentagram or five-pointed star as the main symbol of their religion, and they're out of their mind if they think we're only in the low hundreds of thousands.
We've been on TikTok. We know better.
I read that. I was like, low hundreds of thousands. They are not. Who wrote this? Like, when? I started looking for like a publication date. I'm like, when was this fucking definition written? What are your thoughts on those definitions?
Numbers aside, I mean, Wicca is a form of paganism. I feel like that's all just like very factual. Like, this is where Wicca came from, and like this is why. Like, I can't refute any of that. Witchcraft versus Wicca, like, I definitely put them in the same bucket, but that's just me. Everybody, can sort things out how they like to sort things out. But again, I'm not over here, hexing people.
No, fucking put a hex. Pop. I mean, don't underestimate us.
I mean, true, but
that's just. I mean, what is your because this is a popular topic. Maybe it's not that popular. I don't fucking know what's popular. I just do what I like. I'm a gay man, and you're a woman. Witches are women. But what is the idea of Wiccan men? Which men as witches? Does it have to be a warlock? Can men be witches? Like, I've heard.
Whatever you want, babe.
Right? I mean, what is your opinion on that? Because I've heard different.
My opinion on that is similar to my opinion on individual humans in general. It's whatever you want to be called. Call yourself it. Tell other people you want to be called it. Call it a day.
Yes. I'm going to say, I want to be called on the back. I was going to say, witch, please. When you're getting new shirts, guys, check the website. So familiars are a common theme, and there's yours behind you. I see him. What's his name?
Bean.
Hi, Bean. Familiars are spirit animal guides for witches or something, and they were also in the in Sabrina, Salem the cat. He didn't talk in the Chilling Adventures, but he talked in the show. Mm-hmm. So they're common. So do you believe in familiars?
I feel like, instead of feeling like a familiar is like a goblin skinwalking as an animal, I hope you're not a goblin. I feel
Goblin
like
King. Did you ever see the Labyrinth movie?
No, I've never seen Labyrinth.
There's an ADHD moment. There's the Goblin King, and it's fucking David Bowie.
Yeah.
We're picking a movie night. Anyway, hopefully you're not a goblin, but go ahead.
I feel like it's just when you feel like your soul is especially bonded with another soul.
Well, that's actually what I looked up, and that's kind of what the definition of familiars were that I had found. I didn't really. There are associations with them being demons and demonic, but that isn't that an
witchcraft in general.
With everything, though, there's possibility there's light and dark everything. Look at humanity. Mm-hmm. Is it possible that there's a demonic familiar? Of course. Why wouldn't there be like skinwalkers trying to persuade, or whatever the case is? Like, I believe you believe it, or you don't believe it. Either everything exists or nothing exists.
That's right.
So, don't dispute that witchcraft is fake, but your Jesus Christ is real, because magic is magic. You don't raise the dead without it.
No matter what label you stick on mysticism, still mysticism.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, you can't possibly, you know, light a candle to make yourself feel better. But like, this man was killed, crucified, and then put in a cave, and then 3 days later he was walking around like, hey, like,
They were raising
mysticism.
people up from the dead, turning water into wine. Like that sounds a lot of spell like to me. And I'm not here to argue the Bible with anybody at
Yeah,
all. And I'm not here to disrespect anyone's religious beliefs. But there's
that's
a
right.
lot of disrespect towards other beliefs. That's my point.
Yeah.
So, and I say if either everything exists or nothing exists.
Yep.
That's just
Yeah,
it.
it's definitely I personally out of all, you know, religious beliefs that I have researched, the one that I like the values of the most is Quakerism, because
Okay.
they're just kind of like, we don't care what you pray to, we don't care if you pray or meditate. Just we're all friends here. We just come sit in silence for an hour, have a little
And I do
head
want to
bow, and
preface that I don't, when I speak of religion, I don't, I don't believe in the Bible or books because I feel that they were written with intentions to control and manipulate and keep the man, the straight hetero man, as above everyone else. And I don't agree with that. I think that humans are humans and there is no hierarchy of human life.
yep,
Race, gender, whatever. We are all the same species. There's no hierarchy, you know what I mean, above that. If people want to
yep.
argue other shit, and I'm not here to argue that either. But that's my feeling. And with Wiccan and Wicca and witchcraft and all of that, it's very about yourself.
Yes, it's like body feeling centric. So it deals with like a lot of karma. One of the biggest rules in Wicca, paganism, witchcraft, what have you, is whatever you're dishing out, expect to receive back threefold. So it's
So
just
can you
very.
explain what that means? What do you mean
So
expect back threefold?
so a good way to put this is if I were to sit here and have two different spells that I could do, and one is hexing a person, and the other one is, you know, just saying, I hope that they can live a better life than they're living now. So, you know, if somebody wrongs you and you're like, I want to get back at them, let's put the hex in the trash, because if we send out a hex, that's depleting your karma, and that's gonna come back on you someday.
Okay.
But if you say like, let's let it go, and let's just hope that they have a better time from now on, that's good karma. That's gonna come back on you threefold.
Okay. So that makes sense. Just in case there's people that are very interested, because
Yes.
I like to use this platform because people you hear everyone's starting podcasts, everyone's doing this, you know what I mean? But I genuinely feel that I
Interesting.
can
Yeah.
connect with people, and that's why I
Yeah.
do this. And I think I'd like to take moments, and you are just an amazing human being. And I appreciate you sharing yourself with the entire world. There are people download this podcast. I don't have thousands of downloads, and I'm not like
Yeah.
trying to, but there are downloads around the world. I have people in China and Belgium and the United Kingdom that download these podcasts. So
Oh my god.
I,
Hi, people.
hi world, you know what I mean? Like it's just amazing, and I think it's important to express our values and just be real. And that's why I appreciate you explaining and putting yourself out there, because we have the potential. This is a heavy topic in the world right now too, with religion and gender and all of that. For this episode to be put out there, we have the potential to receive a lot of negative backlash for this, and I'm okay with that. I feel that I'm strong enough as a person to handle that, and I know that you are. I just feel bad for people that can't,
Yeah.
and I want to fight for those people and let them know that there's a, you know, don't listen to the comments, and it's easier said than done. Which brings me back to the whole thing of trauma and why this podcast started. And I have a significant amount of trauma, and I don't think that that makes me different than anyone because we all, not everyone has trauma. Let me preface that because it's very important that not everyone classifies themselves as enduring trauma because everyone has endured heartaches, but there are real traumas of the world, and I have experienced some of them, and it has changed you and changed me. And the listeners of this have endured real trauma, and I think that the main focus for this episode was to give some fun stuff to do with the media, but also anyone that's endured trauma and is trying to build a life and as an adult now, especially trauma that you learned as a child. And I'm not a therapist in any way, so I'm not trying to give advice. But for me, what works for me is I like revisited the Wiccan ways and have to build a safe space for myself because I never had a safe space growing up. And even when I thought I did as an early adult with my previous marriage, I was living with a monster and I didn't know. And then after that, when I completely lost everything that I knew, I had to build myself again. And that's not the first time in my life that I've had to keep rebuilding my life, but this time I knew that I had to do it by myself to ensure that I had the safe space that I needed. And a part of that was exploring Wicca because there's so many techniques that you can do. And then I'm going to let you take over and talk a little bit about maybe how that has helped you and maybe some techniques that can help create spaces for people like us.
Okay, all right, let's jump in. Um, so it's I do a lot of research on lots of things. That's just kind of my thing. But what I really take out of witches and Wicca and paganism and just the whole lot of it is learning to respect yourself and your boundaries and the life that lives around you. It's once you like really start respecting everything, your intuition just grows and grows and grows. It's like I can catch vibes off of anything.
Yeah.
But just there's lots of definitions for like manifestation and just affirmations, and it's really whatever you need it to be. Your version of magic, your version of Wicca, your version of whatever you want to call what you're doing, it's all up to you, and it's all what makes you feel the most comfortable. So I do have a couple of things.
You guys are going to love this. I'm so excited. When Grace gets going, done.
My favorite reference book here is The Good Witch's Guide.
And we're not being paid to promote anything.
No, this is not a paid promotion, unfortunately. It's a modern day Wicca, get it, Wikipedia of magical ingredients and spells. So this is a great beginner guide for whatever you're really looking for. It has a lot of informational qualities, so it like kind of explains everything that I just explained in like a really readable way. It's a very good read. I highly recommend it.
Where can we get them? Is it on Amazon or?
I think I got mine on Amazon. If there are bookstores or witchcraft stores around you, they should have this or something very similar to this. This one is by Shawn Robbins and Charity Bedell. I'm pretty sure both of those are big names in the Wicca community. I'm pretty sure they have more than one published book out there. Okay. So, Yeah, check it out. Amazon. Or if, you hate Jeffrey Bezos or capitalism, look for a
Just
small store.
Google the book, and you should find it somewhere. And find it at,
Yes,
like you said, at your local
if
stores,
you can.
because if you
If you
can,
have one.
you have one.
Yes.
And if you don't, come back and let us
Speaking of,
know.
one just opened up by me, so we're going next time.
Yes, perfect. I'm all about it. You're not that far.
No, I'm not. Okay, so today we're going to talk about some simple candle magic. So, candle magic is all about setting intentions for yourself. It's really light, really easy. Um, it's just an easy way to end your day or start your day, or, when you need a moment of like reflection, like when I have a really bad day, all right, let's light a candle, whether it's scented or unscented, whether it's, purposefully magical or just purposefully like relaxing. Candles do a lot for us that we don't realize.
I unconsciously do that when I have days where I'm like, today I need to
Mhm.
light my candles. And I think that's the witch in me, because I also believe it's hereditary and I have like abilities from previous generations, but continue. Yeah, I had to speak about the candle thing because as you said it, I had like a chill and I'm like,
You're like,
unconsciously,
wait
I
a
just,
second.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, candles. They're great. Okay, so I'm going to read a brief excerpt from The Good Witch's Guide. Okay. The very first spell that almost everyone casts is the one we perform on our birthdays. Someone lovingly bakes or buys a cake. The candles representing our age are placed on the top. These candles are lit. We close our eyes and blow them out. We are told to make a silent wish. Many believe that this tradition dates back to ancient pagan rituals. Our birthdays are considered all important as they mark our entry into this world. This this made for a magical day because you're born. Like you're every human is magical and you're born. That's that on that. Um, the candles on the cake held a great force for power, and once blown out, the wish was then carried by the smoke and sent directly to the gods. The gods, in turn, would receive the message and grant the wish, which is like obviously like a very palatable version of like how candle magic works. Like it's like, okay, we're lighting a candle with intentions, aka a wish, and then we're blowing it out and sending that message to,
You're blowing a
whoever.
kiss, like you're blowing your,
Exactly. It's like, hello, I'm here. Um, I'm maybe in need of some healing or some help or, whatever. Whatever your wish may be. I don't know what people are wishing for on their birthdays these days. But anyway, so all different color candles mean all different things. There's a guide for this. You should be able to find, you could Google this.
yeah.
Um,
Be careful what you click on Google. And especially be
that's
careful what you read on Twitter today.
Uh, those are two very valid points. Um, so I wanted to just touch on a couple really good examples and things that have helped me. Um, okay, so we have candle magic for banishing bad habits and addictions. It's a really good spell for so part of my coping mechanisms are skin picking. I pick my face, I bite my lip, I pick at my lip. This is something that helps me when I get into it real bad with myself.
And I think this is important before you get started, just to announce, because it's such a powerful connection of trauma and addiction, even with myself, that I've broken a lot of habits in the last few years and having to find ways to replace them. Because let's be honest, you don't kick a bad habit and not put something in its place, everything gets filled. So
Yep.
you have to be able to be ready to replace these bad, quote unquote, bad habits. And what's a bad habit to you is is to you. No one else can tell you
Yep.
or define that to you. But trauma, we definitely develop coping mechanisms. Some are healthy and some are not. And I think what you're about to explain and do is going to be very helpful. And I just wanted to do a little.
I appreciate it, because I would have just barreled on through, because like, oh yeah, everybody knows everything about me. Like, no, they don't.
We want to, because you are an amazing person with wait, let me quote it, with one of the most beautiful voices someone has ever heard. Is that correct? Is that what was said at the wedding?
The sexiest voice.
Sexiest voice.
Yeah, no, I'm not really sitting here trying to sex it up today.
Not today. We'll do another episode on that.
I'll do my best dark-haired Jessica Rabbit for you.
Oh, yes.
All right, so banishing bad habits and addictions. This is a general spell that uses 2 candles and is meant for any kind of bad habit, ranging from nail biting to smoking to overindulgences of food or drink, all the way to drug addiction. Whether this is a spell you want to perform on yourself or are concerned about a loved one, in order for the magic to work, it is very important to get the candle inscriptions right. You are to inscribe the full name of the person for whom you want to cast the spell on both candles. You must inscribe a brief description of the habit you want to break on both candles. For example, if you want to lose weight, you would inscribe Jane Brown to lose weight, or Jane Brown to quit smoking. You can easily adapt this spell to suit your situation, so feel free to play with the wording as long as it is specific. It's always set your intentions. Set them right.
And these aren't just, it's the word magic, but everything also has to take part and work on your end as well.
Yes. Okay, you must also have an object present next to the candle that represents the bad habit. If the issue is a food addiction, your favorite kind of chocolate bar would suffice. If you are a smoker and want to quit smoking, use a pack of cigarettes. So for me, in this example, if I'm doing my lip biting, lip picking, skin picking, I'd probably just throw some chapstick next to those candles.
I was waiting. I was like, is she going to say I'm going to just spit out some skin?
Yep, just nope, just some good old chapstick.
The whole bottom lip is just on the floor.
I don't want it anymore.
Okay.
To prepare the oil for anointing, steep 2 whole peeled garlic cloves in 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil overnight. The next day, prepare 1 white and 1 black candle. So the white candle means like purifying, and the black candle is like banishing. So you're purifying one area and banishing the other area. So you'll prepare 1 white and 1 black candle with the inscription. Anoint them in the usual way, whichever your usual way is. So you could stick them in a birthday cake, or
stick them in a birthday cake.
I personally, I have candle holders on my altar. The next, place them on a work surface and situate the object representing the habit next to them. Light the candles and say the spell 12 times. So I'm going to preface before we get to the whole lighting the candles. Make sure that you're doing this in a safe spot where, like, my altar's in my walk-in closet, but I have it set up in an area where, like, I'm not going to catch my clothes on fire. So you don't have to have a permanent altar to do things like this. You could do it at your kitchen table or in
before.
Yes, just like a safe spot where you can light a candle.
Not leave it unattended to burn down your residence.
No. That's by the time you get finished saying this spell 12 times, the candles will be all burned out anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's
little
the spell.
candles or big candles, doesn't matter. Black and white.
I use Wicca candles, so they're like small, skinny candles.
You don't want to go to your local shop, right, or whatever grocery store and buy a pack of birthday candles, one that looks white and one that looks black. That's probably not going to. I mean, it might work, but it'd be like taking expired medicine. We don't know how far it's going to go.
Exactly. But whatever you got, whatever works for you. So
yeah.
if that's the route you got to go, that's the route you got to go.
I mean, try it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that there's actual Wiccan candles, right?
Capitalism.
I will let you continue.
Okay, so we're going to put the actual incantations for this in the show notes, right?
Yes, we can preface the book in the notes.
Yeah. So the incantation is, I banish the black with all that is right. Protection will come with the flame on the white. I banish this habit with love and with light, with all that is good and all that is bright. So you would say that 12 times after you light your candles, and then you leave them to burn down, and then bury the offending object in the garden or in a pot full of soil. If you get the urge to reach for your habit, repeat the spell over and over until the moment has passed. So, don't repeat, the whole, oil and candles and everything, but just the inscription.
Yeah. And that's pretty helpful, too. Mm-hmm. I think, too, which ties into coping mechanisms with addiction in general, because cravings pass. So it helps with passing cravings if you're saying a mantra.
If you want to think about it super relatably, it's like the little prayer that people do at AA and NA meetings.
The Serenity Prayer.
Yes, that one. It's just the same type of thing. Okay, well, I'm feeling like I need a drink right now, so let me, hold on to my little AA token and say my little Serenity Prayer and let this moment pass. Yeah. So it's the same type of logic.
And you get some help, and you're doing a ritual. Sorry, my computer's doing weird things. If anyone heard that. Adobe's popping up. I'm not working on Adobe right now, okay? But before we get on to you have another candle spell, right?
I do.
I have a story about what I did, and it's a cautionary tale of a spell I did with candles.
Here we go.
Yeah. When I was 14, I wanted to dabble in the dark arts. I bought a book. I don't remember what it was called. It was a paperback. Got it from the local mall. And I wanted to best way to describe it is see the future events, or have some sort of a knowledge before, because I guess I had anxiety from stuff and I just didn't like not knowing.
Yeah.
So I found a spell that was said to do the gift of sight. It's the only spell, the actual spell that I've ever really performed in my life. I got the candles. I don't know where the fuck my parents were. I don't know where anybody in my house was.
They were busy.
My altar was my kitchen floor. And I set up the white, I believe they were white candles I needed. And I had lit it, and I repeated the mantra. And I fell into a meditation. And I did it. And I got really weird after I finished. And I blew out the candles and all of that. And I felt lightheaded and a weird feeling. So I was on the first floor, and I went up to the attic where my sister's bedroom was. And I said to my sister, Heather, I did the spell. I feel really weird. And then there was a huge crash outside. And we go outside, and it was her car. Somebody just hit it across the street and totaled it. And I always think of you got to sacrifice something when you get something. Mm-hmm. And she still blames me that I totaled her car. But then I would still to this day, there's things that I would know that I don't. It was not something I advise people to play with. I played with magics I didn't know anything about, and I shouldn't have. And we talked about maybe doing cleansings and things like that for myself. But a couple years later, after I did the spell, I was with two friends in the mall again, and we went in the bookstore, and I was in the whatever section that had the spell books. And I'd gotten rid of this book because my sister was like, you got to get rid of it. Didn't have it anymore. I found it on the shelf. I was like, oh, this was the book I had, telling my two girlfriends, they were girls. And I opened the page to the spell I did. And I mean, instantaneously, the entire mall blackout, lights out everywhere as soon as I
Whoa.
opened the page. And I'm not even, like, I'm literally not making this up. It was so scary. And it was around 9/11. So I didn't think of it in a spiritual way. I thought we were being fucking attacked. I thought we were being robbed. It was so scary. People were on the floor. People screamed, like the entire mall blackout, but it was instant, like no more than a second. As soon as I opened the page, like there it is, lights out. I was like, that's not a good sign.
No.
And I've always had a thing with electricity and shit. Like, even my heart is electrical issues that I just had done. Like, always. I blacked out the local mall with my husband not that long. A couple months ago, I was at Yankee Candle. I put my fucking credit card in the machine. As soon as I took it out, half the mall went out again. It's just weird. Not storming. It's not storming. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. That I think that it's important to read and educate yourself and not just do things because it seems trendy or fun and not know what you're playing with, because it can be harmful. If you're going to play around with Wicca and witchcraft, you have to respect it. And that goes back to what you were saying about being respectful. And I was too young to understand and respect it. I just want to tell my little, it's funny and it's not, because it's kind of scary.
It's funny, but like in a traumatic way.
Yeah. Hey. So I did want to just tell my story. And I tell that story all the time because it's traumatizing. Like, it's just, people can say it's a coincidence, but that's a couple coincidences that were around the same spell. It's very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird. So I apologize for interrupting, because I really want to get back on track with the candle lighting in the positive way.
Yes. We don't do negativity here. I can be a negative person, and I look like I would be a very negative person, but truly...
Do you think that?
I do think that about myself.
That's not good. Don't think that. I don't feel like that.
You know what? I just like carry my resting bitch face very well, because I don't want to
love you. Everybody loves you.
I know, that's the problem. I'm very busy.
Leave her alone, people. She wants to sleep.
I went to a wedding 2 weeks ago and I made like 8 friends. I was like, crap.
I make friends at the fucking grocery store.
I know.
I'm not complaining. I love connecting with people.
Yes.
And I think it's important to say, like, I love to have conversations with everyone, but that doesn't mean that we have to be fucking friends. I don't classify everyone as a friend.
Uh-huh.
Because they're not. And that's okay. It's okay to be able to have conversations with people, and I'll connect with anyone and I'll share, but not everyone am I going to, call at 2 a.m. I'm not calling nobody at 2 a.m. anymore. I'm 36 years old. I'm fucking sleeping. But
we're friends, but please don't call me at 2 a.m. I'm sleeping.
If you get a phone call from me at 2 a.m., God damn it, don't.
You better be on your deathbed.
I probably would be.
Hold on, let me knock on wood.
I know, I just knocking on my desk. We're all knocking and shit. My dogs are probably like, what the fuck is happening in that room? Like, they just don't hear you because I have headphones on. They just hear their dad talking. Well, that's not weird. That's not weird. I talk to myself whether I'm recording or not. Like, let's be honest.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah,
but
even Bean was like, this is too much.
I'm done. The husbands have left. The fiancés, everyone's gone. Like, everyone's like, fucking these two again. They get going.
These wackos.
I'm telling you, Grace, you're going to be on here all the time. I don't know if you noticed, but I gave you a break because you're busy, but like, I've been invited you back like several times on this show. You're like a co-host without being,
I feel like if y'all like me, if y'all want me to come back more often, just let Eric know. Bother him.
Yes.
Bother him in my stead. Just
yes.
And also, if you hate me, feel free to bother him with that as well.
Nobody hates you.
Care, but
no, I'll probably block whoever says negative shit because we just don't do negativity, and I'm all about that. I'm not engaging with hateful comments that are not there to.
Well, that's fair and valid, but screenshot those negative comments for me. Okay?
No, absolutely not. I'll screenshot them and I'll do a TikTok video like this bitch. I'm not above it. I'm petty. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, oh, I have a platform in case people hear this. I'm fucking petty, and I hold on to shit. Like, I'm very good with words, and I know how to like articulate and not be, confrontational. But I will fucking like I could
Well, it
hurt
doesn't mean we
people.
can't be confrontational.
Yeah, like I just put it out there, people. Like I'm definitely. And first of all, I'm not afraid of a villain on a keyboard.
I sympathize with villains more than I do with hero characters. So
Wicked.
anyway,
Let's
a
keep doing that.
conversation for another day.
Yes. Next spell.
Yes. Second and last one that I picked out because I feel like this is relatable for every human being, no matter where you are or what you're doing with your life. It's a spell for dealing with unhappy emotions and stress.
Fuck, do I have the stuff now? Can we do it together?
Roll up. I got it. Okay. So I'm going to read. Again, it's still the Good Witch's Guide. So Google it.
Hey.
Sometimes, and often for no good reason, we can all get a bit down in the dumps. There may be a specific situation causing the blues, or you may be suffering minor depression from hormonal flux or other physical reasons. Whatever the cause, this spell will help lift the black cloud that is overhead and help you feel more content. It will also combat any stress you might be feeling and help to calm anxiety. Cleanse a small brown candle and anoint it with pure peppermint oil. Hold on, I'm going to jump to what brown candles mean real quick.
It's like a flying thing. Don't mind me. I'm swatting at like a gnat. There's a gnat flying by me. I'm not trying to vogue or anything. It's just
I mean, you can. Okay, so brown candles are for attuning with the trees and earth, promoting concentration, helping with decisiveness, protecting animals, amplifying assertiveness, aiding friendships, bringing material gain, gaining mental stability, connecting with Mother Nature, and studying and learning. So we're about to light a brown candle for your husband. Okay, so we are going to cleanse a small brown candle and anoint it with pure peppermint oil. This oil is very useful for clearing the mind and helping us see things more plainly. Scratch your name into the wax along with the words, "Ease my sadness." Place the candle next to a piece of smoky quartz crystal and say this spell 3 times. Despondent thoughts leave my mind, my inner peace soon I'll find. Ease this mood and leave me free to be continued with life and truly happy. Leave the smoky quartz in situ until the candle has finished burning, and then carry the crystal with you for at least a few weeks. You should start to feel better almost immediately, but if for whatever reason you find it takes a little longer to lift your mood, repeat the spell each night and sleep with the smoky quartz next to your bed.
nice.
That's that on that.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I know that this is a different episode that I'm not used to, that people won't be used to, but I think it's such an amazing topic, and we've touched on so much, and it's all great things and things that need to be said. And I want people to know, again, I say this whenever we get together, I want people to know that we are here for them.
Mm-hmm.
In many ways. And I'm not a content creator that's doing things for views. I genuinely will have a conversation with a stranger. So if you are a person who has experienced traumas or just a horror fan and you feel left out, there's, like I said, you can get me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can send a message, and I don't have a problem connecting and talking. I think that it's important that people know we're not here for fame or recognition. I'm here because I didn't have that growing up. And I feel that there's so many people that, especially now, these people are still alone in a world where everyone is never alone.
Yep.
That's so strange, right?
Yeah.
It's so weird to think of. We're all like the entire world is connected. As I said before, people have listened to me. I've never thought people have listened to me in fucking the United Kingdom and China and Russia. Maybe they're bots. I don't know. but but no, there are some of them are downloading and it's just so fucking wild. Like that's where we are. And I had that conversation with Amelia, who was my guest from the Night of the Demons movie, and even that, like the connection that we had made, I grew up watching this villain that I was terrified of, and I had a 2 hour conversation with this woman.
Hmm.
Never would have thought that would happen.
Talk about facing your demons.
For real. Angela. No, but I just like, I know this is a little bit of a heavier episode, also fun. We did touch on media because I am a diehard horror fan and I will get you one day. Slowly, look
And
I got a new movie into you for this podcast.
yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Which is something that I
sneaky.
never would have watched for myself.
Sneaky
I have
guy.
seen the remake that they did on Hulu, I believe, or no, HBO.
Anne Hathaway.
Is Anne Hathaway in it?
She was the Grand High Witch.
Was she? Maybe I'll check it out. But yeah, there's tons of witch content out there, and there's so much to be explored, and there's so many conversations to be had about it. So,
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
we can do this every spooky season with 3
Every.
new media.
I mean, as I'm saying, like fucking Hocus Pocus,
The
Practical
Craft.
Magic, The Craft. See, The Craft I'm saving. The Craft I'm saving because I feel like that
That's
deserves
an episode.
an episode to itself.
So good.
Such. Oh, yes, we'll get into The Craft. But I
Yes.
think we have come to the time to revisit terrifying trivia and give the answer to our listeners. And I wonder if they're going to know what it is. But all right, I'm going to read the question again. So it's time to answer terrifying trivia. The question again was, in the show Bewitched, what does Samantha wiggle to cast her spells? And the answer is Grace's favorite word, capitalism. I'm just kidding. That's not the answer.
Shaking it at its core.
Yeah. The answer is her nose. And like I said, this was fun and it was easy and I can't do it, but it was like wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I loved Bewitched. But even reading the synopsis, I was looking at it for the show, just like looking for different things. And I was like, even look at that show and what it represented for women and witches. Like she was a witch and met a man who was immortal, who repressed her from being who she was. You have to be just a housewife and a normal person, a mortal, and she had to sneak around to do magic and stuff. Like it was okay, in my opinion, those days it was never great for anyone but heterosexual, mostly white men.
That's
Like,
right.
let's be honest, and I am a white man, but I'm gay, so I guess I'm not considered a white man. I don't know what I am considered. An abomination to some, but that's okay. I'll be an abomination with all my fellow abominations.
That's right.
Yeah. Wait, what's my husband's thing? I don't know what he does. He does yeah, there it is. I just was talking to him about that, and he can't watch this because he's gonna get so mad.
You know he's gonna watch it. He's gonna be like, "You motherfuckers."
No, I love him to death, and I'm gonna put him on blast right now. He does not listen to my podcast. He does not watch my TikToks, and I joke with him because I'm like, that's fine. I have enough people now on TikTok that love me and talk to me. Which is funny, but also not, because I do have like a community of people on TikTok for the horror community, and I have never been happier in my life because that's what I'm out there for. Obviously, I promote the show. Why wouldn't I promote the show? I want to connect with people. To connect with people, you got to promote. But I love just sharing things that I love and people commenting and liking it, and it's so fucking amazing. So I love that, but I do joke with him. I'm like, that's fine. I have people now. So
I have my people. I found them.
yes, I have found them. But yeah, no, I joke with him like he'll be scrolling through TikTok and out of nowhere I'll hear my voice and I'm like, it's still weird to me because he's like he'll tap it, like it or something. Sometimes he won't even like it and he'll just scroll past it because he's like not a horror fan. and will just be like, I don't want that on my feed because I don't want that my feed to be based around horror movies. And I'm like, that's fair. No hard feelings. No hard feelings.
Respect and acceptance.
Yes.
That's
That's my thing about my husband, but he gives me the freedom to be me in every way possible, and he's the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm gonna also
yes.
But no, I mean it. And I think at this point we're gonna end the show before we cry, because I feel like we're heading to like some tears, and this is only episode 30. Let's save it to episode 50. You're gonna have to come back like every 10 episodes or 20 episodes.
All right. Yeah, I can do that. I think I can fit that into my schedule.
Yeah, we'll fix it. We'll make it work. At least you don't have to, like, did you remember the first episode we recorded here? You had to sit in the room. We're in chairs on like one mic.
It took us like a whole hour to figure out like if there was feedback.
It wasn't even a year ago. That's so wild to me. This whole fucking thing is just wild to me. And now you're home. I'm home. I have headphones and a proper mic. And, you know, my horror room is, I love it. Like, my Michael is still up. I love him so much. I'm going to put a Santa hat on him. I can't wait. Stay tuned. But I think moving forward, I'm going to continue recording my podcast in video so I can upload it to the YouTube channel. So before we go, I'm going to hand it back to Grace one more time to promote whatever she wants to promote, where you can find Grace, because Grace also does really great hair, and she can do hair tips, and she does a lot of stuff. So Grace, any last words for the listeners?
You can find, I have 2 Instagrams. If you want to get to know me as a person, you can follow me at GBEATTT. If you are interested in seeing me post like once every 3 months about whatever hair or art project I'm doing, you can find me at grace.the.good.stitch. Both of those are Instagram. I'm pretty on the outs with social media otherwise, so that's your best bet.
Yay. I really, really, really appreciate you spending your Friday evening with me. Yes,
absolutely.
It's a Friday that we were recording this, but like I said, it's been a week, and you've made the end of my week so much better, because this is what I love to do. And it's been rough, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to do this episode after my procedure. So thank you so much. I love you. I would love to talk to you in person and not in person, on podcast or not on podcast. But I am a little, you know, I think that we have great conversations, and maybe I'm delusional, but I'd like to record them to share with the world.
Yeah, we can do this anytime.
Yes. And I know you have a friend who's interested in podcasting.
I do.
Possibly we can do a 3-host podcast on something.
A 3-way?
Do a 3-way together. My husband will never do an episode of anything. He's just not. But maybe your friend would like to join us on an episode.
Like I said, he was like, "Oh, you're talking about Charmed," and then he went off on like a 2-minute scroll rampage, and then he was like, "And if you talk about the reboot that they did, you have to call me immediately." So yeah, we don't talk about the reboot apparently. I don't know. So
nothing against the people that created it. You know, some people might like it, and I'm not knocking. I never watched it, so I can't say I don't like it. I just don't want to. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to like it. I'm not going to watch it. Kudos to those who do. But that is the end of this week's episode. Again, I really, really do appreciate everything. And I appreciate all the listeners, old and new, fans of me and Grace, friends of me and Grace. Who,
yeah. And if you want me to come back on, just bother the shit out of Eric. Just like constant. Yeah. Or like I said, if you don't like me, do the same thing.
Nobody better talk shit about my Grace. That's all I'm saying. I gave the warning earlier. So, but that is it. And I always end with stay safe, but always stay spooky. And if you want to tell people stay spooky, say it on the count of 3 with me. Ready? We're going to do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Stay spooky.